You ever feel like your manifestation skills are stuck in airplane mode? If your dreams aren't coming true, you're more than likely making one of these common mistakes, so stick around because today we're talking about the 3 biggest reasons why the law of attraction isn't working for you and how to fix them. Yo, what's up Grind Gang? How you living, baby? I hope you're living and loving your life out there today, and my intention for this video is to help you do more of that. My name is Rodtheplanter, and I've been helping people just like you master the art of manifestation for over 10 years now. I've studied so many different philosophies, many different leaders in the space, and I've made pretty much every manifestation mistake that you can make in the book. So at this point now, I've made it my mission in life to help others kind of cut through that confusion, cut through all the noise, and get to the results a lot faster than I did on my journey. So with all that out of the way, let's get the law of attraction working for you today and cover these 3 common mistakes that I see most people make when they're starting out using the laws of attraction or manifestation. Okay, so the first mistake I see is you're trying to control your thoughts rather than shape your beliefs. And this kind of comes about because in a lot of the law of attraction literature and things out there, people are always talking about thoughts become things, or you become what you think about all day long, and it drives us a lot to the thoughts. And while this is a sound idea, it lacks a lot of context. And I'm going to explain to you a little bit about how thoughts and how beliefs work in our mind and the difference between the two. Okay, so let's start with a metaphor. I want you to think of your mind as like a garden, right? And thoughts are like the seeds that come into your garden. Some of them you plant yourself, some they just blow in with the wind, and they're all different, right? Some of these thoughts or some of these seeds are positive and some of them are negative, but they're constantly coming and exposing themselves to your garden, and different ones are taking root depending on what kind of soil you have in your garden. Okay, now the soil on the other hand is more like your beliefs, right? The nutrients, the health of that soil is really what's going to determine what kind of seeds take root and grow into the garden that is your mind. And so if we have a really healthy, nutrient-dense soil, then a lot of these positive thoughts that we have are going to take root, they're going to shape our beliefs, and we're going to have these really luscious garden. But if we have very nutrient deficient soil and it's really kind of grimy, nasty soil that only the worst of the plants can take root in, you're probably going to end up with a lot of weeds and a lot of limiting beliefs that are discouraging you and keeping you from your manifestations. Let's talk a little bit about how do we identify what our belief system is and how do we really shape and change that, the place where our energy is best used. Okay, beliefs are essentially just what we think is true about the world and about ourselves. It takes some real intention and deep diving to really consider the things that we just automatically take for granted as true. And let me give you an example of some beliefs that some people might have. I'll take the first example from my own personal life. You know, when I was younger, I was very much anti-rich. You know, I grew up in Occupy Wall Street time, and where everybody was, 2008, there was a market crash, and people who were really wealthy were doing a lot of detrimental things to our economy and to people, and I thought that that was really bad. These were kind of like some of my political views about the situation. One day I kind of had to reconcile this incongruence I had within myself, because I really wanted to be wealthy. I wanted to live a very wealthy life. I wanted to have a lot of financial freedom for me and my family so that we can experience the things that we want to experience in life. But I was at, like I said, this incongruence because on one hand I had this belief that wealthy people were corrupt, that they did very negative and bad things in the world, but I also wanted to be rich. And it wasn't until I started to kind of understand that belief and explore that belief that I started to realize, like, okay, well, are there good people in the world that are also wealthy? And I did. I started to find a lot of people who were extremely wealthy, who were doing amazing things in the world, giving back to their communities, helping others, using their finances to better the world rather than detriment it. And I had to realize that, you know what, being rich isn't necessarily a definitive, this is how you'll be. Different people experience wealth in different ways. Different people use their wealth in different ways. And I could still be wealthy and still maintain my moral compass and being a good person. I could use those resources to help people rather than hurt them. And that really changed the whole way that I approach wealth in general, really having a broader view, a worldview that, hey, this is an okay thing to do and that it's also possible for me. It's more in that belief. If we can identify what beliefs we already have and identify the beliefs we want to have, now we're really on the right track to making some really strong paradigm shifts in our life. And this is really going to control our life more than anything, because more than our thoughts, like I said, our beliefs are going to shape our actions and our actions are going to shape our results. So if I have a belief that something's impossible, then I probably won't try, right? Like, why would I try something that I think has no chance of succeeding? And it's that belief that this is impossible that's really shaping my destiny more so than the thoughts I think about it on a day-to-day basis. Now, where do our beliefs come from? I'm gonna give you some kind of tips and tricks from my course where I teach people how to master manifestation from start to finish. It's a comprehensive course that teaches you all the different ideas and concepts that you need to have. They're well organized so that it's easy to follow. And when people are finished with this course, they feel like they have a really deep understanding of themselves, about the universal laws and how the world is working around them, and how to best use that system to get results that they want. And in this course, we talk about shaping our beliefs, as this is a huge part of becoming a master manifester. And we talk about how your beliefs are shaped from three different sources, mainly three different sources. The first is authority. A lot of times when we're young especially, a lot of people have authority over us. Our parents, our teachers, our preachers and pastors, our elders throughout the community, people that we look up to because we don't know a lot about how the world works. Right now a lot of people don't believe in aliens, but if the president came on the State of the Union today and was like, aliens are real, we just found them, we're studying them down at Area 51, a lot more people would take on the belief that aliens exist. Why? Well, because an authority figure, somebody that they trust as knowing more than they do, told them that that was the truth, and so now they believe it, right? Okay, so authority is one way. Another way is our own life experiences, right? They say seeing is believing, right? We've had things happen to us in our life that have shaped and molded how we view reality. Let's say I have a terrible relationship, right? And this person's really toxic and narcissistic and they run me through the mud. And after this, I might take on this belief that relationships are toxic, right? That people out here are very narcissistic and that people that I fall in love with will hurt me. Well, if I have that belief, you can see how that's going to start to perpetuate to all the relationships that I have from that point forward. And the way that I'm going to approach those relationships, the way I'm going to act in those relationships, the fear that I might carry in those relationships are really going to not help me manifest a very happy and positive experience. And that might not necessarily be the healthiest belief to take from that situation. So it's our own experiences and things that we've lived out that sometimes we define a belief from it, and those beliefs can sometimes be positive or negative and really affect how we go through life moving forward. And the last one is conditioning. If you hear something enough times, you do start to believe it, right? And we've seen this a lot, and this happens to us a lot through, say, social media, right? Sometimes when a trend takes root or a certain idea starts to prevail through social media and we see it over and over and over, we can really start to shape our own beliefs about what that is, because the repetition just takes root in our brain and it's something that drives memory and belief. One of the reasons you believe so strongly in gravity is that you've been conditioned throughout your entire life. Every single day, gravity's shown up and it's worked on you. So you have a belief that gravity exists and that it will continue to exist going forward. And that's a really strong belief only because it's been conditioned over and over and over throughout your lifetime. So conditioning, constant repetition of exposure to ideas, will also shape our beliefs. And this is the part that people talk about with their thoughts. If you have a certain thought that continues to repeat itself, right, it will start to shape your belief, and that belief will start to shape your actions and your experience of this reality. So if we understand that thoughts become beliefs and the beliefs are what shape our reality, we can focus more of our attention and our efforts on understanding what our beliefs are and shaping those. Because once we have a healthy set of beliefs, and it's not even necessarily about beliefs that are right or wrong, it's beliefs that support the life that we want to live. if you want to be an entrepreneur, let's say, you have to have a strong belief that entrepreneurship is easy and that it's possible for you. Because if you have a belief, I don't know if that's true or not, right? A lot of people would disagree with that belief. But if you had a belief that was contrary to that, your journey towards manifesting that experience is going to be 1,000 times harder, because nobody wants to do something that they think is impossible or that they think is hard. Okay, so reason number 2 that a lot of us run into a wall with our manifestations is we lack focus in our intentions, right? This is the classic, we're spreading ourselves too thin, we're putting too much of our energy into too many different directions. And this seems so easy to understand, but it's so hard to practice. It's so hard because as we start setting out on a certain journey, we're gonna experience resistance. And that's this uncomfortability that we experience when we are not, like I said, good at doing something, or we don't know how to get something. We experience this kind of uncomfort, and that vibrational shift is a nasty one, and nobody really likes it. And so what we do is, to avoid those resistant feelings that we experience, we try to pivot towards something that we think will be better or easier or whatever the case may be. And this pivoting, it causes us to never really make the progress that we need to, or to, like I said, overcome the challenges that we need to get to what it is that we want. The classic analogy that I see come up a lot in this, and I think it's just right on point, is imagine that you have a planter of water, like a jug of water, right? And you have 10 plants that you want to grow, but you only have this one jug of water. And every day the jug refills, but you only have so much per day. If I were to take that jug and split it across all 10 of these plants, all 10 of the plants will get some water, but they might not get enough water to actually thrive and to grow into the big, strong plant that I want it to be. And every day, also at the end of the day, I'm gonna find my bucket, my jug of energy, or water in this analogy, empty. It's drained, right? I've used it all up, so I'm exhausted, I'm lacking in energy, but also all the things that I've been investing in are not really seeing return or growing either, because they're not getting enough. Now, imagine I shrank those 10 plants down to 1 plant, right? Now I have the same jug of water, and every day it refills, and every day I can put as much as I need to make this plant grow. However much energy, however much water this plant needs, I have an abundance of it, and so I can give it as much as I need. And also, after I've given it tons and tons and tons of energy or water, I still have water left over, right? I'm not drained, I'm not completely depleted. So us being able to maintain our energy levels and not completely deplete ourselves or burn ourselves out is a huge positive in keeping our manifestational energy as high as we'd like it to be. And we're able to invest in our projects, into our intentions, everything that it needs to make sure that it grows, and grows rapidly, thrives, and is happy and healthy. So focusing on our intention, right? Like really committing to something that it is that we want. You know, it's like a kitchen. If I put an order in, I say, hey, I want French toast today. And you're like, the kitchen's like, got it, cool. And then 5 minutes later, I go, oh, you know what? No, I don't want French toast, actually. I want pancakes instead. Okay, so the kitchen's like, oh, okay, well, I was halfway through making your French toast. Okay, cool. Throw away the French toast. Let's start the pancakes. And you start the pancakes. And another 5 minutes later, you go, nah, you know what? Scrap the pancakes. I think I'd rather have steak. No, eggs. No, I'd rather have the ribeye. You know, like if we're just changing it constantly, you end up with a kitchen that's just kind of sitting there waiting for you. Like, I mean, whenever you're done, man, put the order in and I'll make it. You know, it's gonna take me some time to make it, you know, and I gotta put the shit together, but whenever you're ready, I'll make it, right? That's kind of what happens in our process, our manifestational process, when we keep shifting our focus on, ooh, I want this, never mind, that's too hard, I'd rather see this, oh, this relationship's too difficult, I'd rather make it, you know, whatever. Pick something that you think is gonna move the quality of your life, and then stay focused on that until you make it become a reality, and then move on. And be careful of the resistance that will try to convince you that you do not want what you want, right? It will start to be like, oh, you know what, this is too hard, maybe I don't want this after all. That is not, like, that is a negative force that is you're allowing to cloud your belief system, and then it's going to start to shift your actions. So you want to avoid that. You want to make sure you stay maintained on the idea of like why you picked this thing in the first place, and drive all the way on to its completion. Okay. And I saved the best for last. I think that this is truly probably the biggest mistake that most people make, and the thing that I've tried to help people make like the greatest shift in. Understand that attracting what you want is far more about your own internal vibration than it is about the external thing that you want. The law of attraction has gotten so much play in society and has kind of really become the popular universal law. And that's kind of a shame, because it's kind of more of a secondary law. It's a reactive law, right? There's also something called the law of vibration. And this is the predominant or the dominant law, right? This is the law that actually precedes the law of attraction. It is our vibration that causes things to attract to us. So the law of attraction, all it says is that if you have a vibration and something else matches that vibration, it will be attracted to that, right? It'll come towards that, it will manifest via that. But like I said, again, that's just stating that if we get the vibrational part right, then the other thing that we want will attract to us or manifest from that. So if we focus too much on the thing we want, right? We're focused on the career, we're focused on the car, we're focused on the house and what the house looks like, and all these things about the external thing that we want to manifest. We start to neglect how we are being, like how we're showing up. What energetic vibration are we in? What emotional state are we in? Right? It's far more about us and how we're expressing ourselves than what it is that we want. If we express ourselves in the right way, right, that is in alignment with the things that we want, then the things that we want will come. And they don't really need our attention or focus. Now, sometimes it is cool to study those external things so that we understand what kind of vibration makes that up, right? Like what kind of person does have these things? What kind of actions does the person take that can create the thing that I want? If I want to be a real estate agent, right, and that's my dream, is to become a real estate agent, it does pay to understand what real estate agents do and how do they do what they do and what kind of things did you have to do to become a real estate agent. That's all fine and dandy. But once we identified all those and we have a plan and we know what it is that we're trying to accomplish and what we need to do, it's far more effective for us to focus now daily on how are we showing up and how are we being. Are we exuding that vibration more so than wishing and obsessing over the result that we'd like to have? You don't win a championship by obsessing over the trophy. That's not how you win. You win by practicing every day, focusing on each game that you need to win, and showing up on the basketball court every time as the best basketball player you can be. That's how you win a championship. But so many times people focus so much on like, well, I'm trying to get this thing, and they got all these visualizations of the thing, and they're writing out affirmations constantly about the thing, but they're completely ignoring themselves. So they'll do the affirmations, they'll do all the visualizations, then they'll go out on the road, somebody will cut them off in traffic, and they'll start cussing them out and then be all pissed off all day because something terrible happened to them, and then come home and be like, yeah, I can't wait to get my Ferrari. It doesn't work like that, right? So we have to focus more on our vibration than what we want, right? We have to focus more on how we're being over what we want. And our being, I'll give you another little awesome tidbit from my course, is made up of three things: our spirit, our mind, and our body, right? That's your vibration. That's you. You as a whole are these three entities, these three aspects, right? You have a spirit, which is your emotional connection, your beliefs, the things that we were just talking about that shape our actions and our thoughts, right? Then we have our mind. This is our ego. This is how you see yourself every day. I'm, Rodtheplanter, and I do X, Y, Z, right? And I have all these skills that I use, right? That's your mind. And then you have your body, which is your health. You know, the food that you're eating, the physical fitness level of your body, whether you have illnesses or things like that, right? All three of these things have their own vibration, and if we focus on raising the vibration of each of these things to the point that it needs to be, we will be in a high vibrational energy, and the higher our vibration, the higher experiences we'll be able to manifest for ourselves. I've been studying this stuff for so long and really kind of adopted this idea so strongly. I kind of developed this belief that if I'm the best version of myself, right? If I'm the highest vibration I can be, then I'm going to attract the highest experiences that I can possibly attract. And I might not even actually understand what those are, right? I might not even know what it is that I truly want, because Lord knows that that's changed so many times over my lifetime. But what I have noticed is that if I show up, if I focus on developing my spirit, developing my mind, and developing my body, then I always have the lens in which to see the beauty in my life, no matter what's happening. I have the peace that I'm looking for no matter what's happening. And I find that I experience all these amazing experiences that sometimes, like I said, I couldn't even wish for, like above and beyond what I could hope to have experienced. So I've just focused so much now on just myself, how I'm being, how I'm showing up in my relationships, how I'm showing up in my daily job, how I'm showing up in my health and fitness, am I taking care of my body? If you focus more on these things that are controlling your experience, then all that external stuff is like I said, second nature. It's almost automatic based on that. So focusing more on yourself and internally. When your spouse or your boss or somebody is annoying the shit out of you, right? You don't focus in on all that. You focus in on yourself. You say, okay, how am I responding to this? How am I experiencing this? How am I shaping this, right? Like, what kind of beliefs am I creating from this experience, right? And all of that becomes more of like an internal focus. Once you get to that point, so many things are going to shift. It's probably the greatest shift that you can make along this journey, is understanding that it's less about having the calendar, having the vision board. All those things are great and they're good at helping to condition yourself, but you have to first understand the process that's really happening here is you changing your own vibration. And as you do that, as you raise your vibration, these things will come to you. Okay, awesome, man. Those are the 3 things, and let's just recap real quick the 3 things that we really want to be working on as we leave this video. First things first, understanding that thoughts are important, but it's more about the beliefs that we hold about how we think the world works and what we think we're capable of, right? Like, the beliefs about ourselves and about the world are far more shaping our actions, and our actions are results, right? So we're moving on to beliefs from thoughts. Secondly, we're gonna focus our intention, right? We're gonna narrow it down, spend the time, look through the catalog of the universe, picture yourself and imagine yourself having these different experiences. Really find the ones that are most important to you and that you really believe that would be beneficial to your life, and then commit to those and see them all the way through to the end, right? And so focusing on our attention. And last, really shifting our focus and our energy and our efforts on ourselves rather than obsessing externally over these things that are happening to us or these things that we want or don't want, and more just focusing on ourselves of how we're being, how we're showing up, and how we're developing ourselves to the highest potential that we can. Okay? If you do those 3 things, I'm telling you, you probably knock out 80% of anything that could be keeping you from, being a master manifester. And if you need help in any of these areas, we have a free resource for you down below. It's called the Self-Discovery Guide, and it's really good starting point if you're just getting into these things. It itself can help you kind of identify some of your beliefs that you might have and really narrow down your intentions by focusing on what it is that you want and what you don't want out of life, and kind of creating a plan to get that. It's called the Self-Discovery Guide. It asks you 1 journaling question every day, and you only have access to 1 because, again, we want to focus our intention. And so if you just really spend time answering those questions over the next 30 days, you're going to learn so much about yourself, about what it is that you want, and then that alone will be so much of the effort that we talked about in manifesting what we want, because number 2 would have already been taken care of. You'll know exactly what it is that you want and know how to focus your energies to get it. All right, cool. I hope all those things are helpful for you, and I hope this video has helped you to live and love your life each and every day. I love you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this day, and I will talk to you again in the next video. See you soon. Bye.